today is that Suni is using a yardstick to measure pieces of yarn for her art project. She had 3 different colors of yarn. She had a blue color, which I put up there. She measured a green color of yarn, and then she measured a red one. That red is a little hard to see on that background. It's a lot easier to see on the task that I'm handing out. You have 4 questions that are going to go with where she cut the yarn. Which color is the smallest piece of yarn? It's not a trick question. Devin, which one's the smallest? Blue. Which one's the biggest piece of yarn? Michael? The red. So she's cut these different colors. We're not quite sure what she's doing with them, but she's cut those different size pieces. And then it's going to ask you some questions that go with those 3 pieces of yarn. The first one says, what fraction of a unit? That means just what fraction does she need of each color? So we need to figure out what the fraction is. Number 2, if the unit was divided into fourths, look at the board. Am I currently counting by fourths?
No.
No, I'm counting by something much bigger than fourths. So it's saying if it was now divided into fourths, which colors of strings could be measured by fourths? Number 3, how many fourths is each of those colors? And then number 4, are any colors equal to 1/2 of the unit? You may use your fraction pieces to help you if you would like. You may draw pictures, you may draw models. All of that is fine. We will get started on this now, and then we will obviously have to break for the tornado drill in just a second.
I'm going harder.
All right, crew, let's start with number 1. Because some of us still haven't figured out number 1, which is a little bit of a problem. That's all right. We'll do it together. Look at number 1. If you're on Math Choice Board, just pause and follow along with us. Number 1. All right, number 1 says, what's the fraction of each of the colors? So you should probably have a space for blue, a space for green, and a space for red. How am I going to figure out what fraction is blue? How do I figure that out? That's not a lot of hands. How do I figure out what fraction is blue? Jackson, how do I do it?
Look at the number.
Okay, I'm looking at the number line. Okay, I'm looking at the blue one. How am I going to tell what fraction it is?
Count how many spaces there are.
In the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to count how many spaces are in the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're stopping where it says 1 hole, because I need to know how many spaces are in 1 hole. Jackson, we counted 8 spaces, so what am I going to be counting by?
Count how many spaces are shaded blue.
What am I going to be counting by?
8.
8. So when I just counted, I was counting by 8. That tells me that my denominator, Jackson, is what? 8. Now we need to go back and see how many jumps was blue. Let's count. Ready? 1, 8. Blue is just 1. All right, let's look at green. What's going to be the denominator for the green fraction? What's going to be the denominator for the green fraction, Bella? 8. It's the same number line. But now we have different lengths, right? Let's count to figure it out. Ready? 1 8, 2 8, 3 8, 4 8. I counted 4 8 is my length. 4 8 is my length. What about the red one? I'm still counting by 8s. Wait a 6. 6/8. Let's see if he's right. Count with me. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. So far, so good. Looking at part 2. Part 2 is asking you if it was cut into fourths. Is it cut into fourths right now? No. What is it cut into? Eighths, not fourths. But if it was cut into fourths, what would those fractions be? I want you to get out your fraction pieces. Get out your fraction pieces, please. If I was counting by fourths, how much would that be? Get out a fourth piece. Get out a fourth piece. I believe those are green. If the blue 1/8 piece, or the blue yarn was 1/8, can I get there if I'm counting by fourths?
Yes.
I can?
No. Yes, you did.
One more.
No, what'd you say?
This is my blue yarn. This is what I'm counting by. Can I land on that blue yarn by counting by 1/4? No, I cannot. It is too small.
This is 1/5.
So I cannot count the blue yarn using 1/4 pieces because my 1/4 pieces are too big. Do you see that? If you add an 8, is that the length of your blue yarn?
No.
No. You could add an 8, but then you've made your blue yarn too big. 1/8 does not equal anything with fourths. Let's try our green one. Our green one has 4/8. Go ahead and get out 4/8 pieces. Go ahead and get out 4/8 pieces. So we had our 1/8, which was our blue yarn, and it was too small to be counting with fourths. Kind of like if I wanted to measure an ant using miles. Would that work?
No.
No, it would be way too big. My 1/4 pieces are way too big. This next one, though, you should have 4 1/8 pieces. Because that is the length of our green yarn. Can I count that using fourth pieces? Put your fourth pieces, measure them. Can you count 4 1/8 pieces using your 1/4 pieces? Braden, what do you think?
Yeah.
How many 1/4 pieces did it take you?
2.
Took you 2. Probably looks something like this. So if I was counting by 8, I would say 4/8. But if I was counting by fourths, I would say, how many fourths? 2. 2 fourths. All right, let's look at our red one. Our red one had 6/8. Get out 6 1/8 pieces now. All right, my last one, I have 6 1/8 pieces because that is the length of my red yarn. And instead of counting by 1/8 pieces, I want to count by 1/4 pieces. How many 1/4 pieces will it take to get to the same distance as 1/8? many 1/4 pieces did it take? You should have them on your desk, spaced out, lined up. How many 4th pieces did it take to count the same distance but in 1/8 pieces? You figure it out, Jackson? 3. It took 3 1/4 pieces. So your picture with your pieces should look like that. We had 3 1/4 pieces. If I was counting by 1/4, I would say 3/4. So that question number 2, when it said which colors could be counted, I couldn't count the blue one, remember? It was too small. The blue piece was too small to count with 1/4 pieces. But I could count the green piece, and I could count the red piece. They were big enough to be counted with 1/4 pieces. Question number 3 is just asking you how many 1/4 pieces was the red piece and the green piece. I think the last question you can figure out. This time it wants to know if I'm counting by half pieces. Are any colors equal to a half? If I was counting by half-size pieces, what would I get? I'm not going to do question number 4 with you because I think you can figure that one out because it says 1/2.